21, 6 p.m. at the Bowen Senior Center, 52 Bagley, Pontiac, Michigan, 48341. Roll call, Mr. Doyle.
Carter. Present. Miller. Petola.
Present.
Shramsky. Taylor Burks. Waterman. Williams.
Present.
Mr. President, you have a quorum.
Okay. I would like
need to
to excuse Councilwoman Miller. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Petola. Shramsky. Taylor Burks. Waterman. Oh, there's Miller. There's Miller there.
Okay, all right, whatever. Okay, well, I'll wait for her to take her seat, and then we'll go to amendments to the agenda. I would like to defer item number 2 for 2 weeks. The presenter was coming from Detroit, and they said they didn't want to be caught in the storm. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion on moving item number 2 for 2 weeks? Okay, seeing none, roll call.
Petola. Shramsky.
Yes.
Taylor Burks. Waterman. Williams.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Miller.
And, okay, I would also like to move items 3, 4, and 5 to a special cable subcommittee to go through it. It's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Shramsky. Oh,
Meeting be, because this is something that's been ongoing, so when will this meeting be?
We can have it next Tuesday at 5 if you like.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Mr. President, I would also like to make a comment.
Yes, Madam Mayor.
Yes, these items relate to the fact that some people are still complaining about the poor quality and audio of our cable broadcasts. And this we presented before, but our equipment is 20 years old, and people just want to get the new equipment in there so we can hear our cable broadcast. And so these are the items related to that. Now, if you're pushing them back again, I just want to explain to people who are coming and complaining to us they can't hear, it's because we need this equipment.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I do want to note that if you look at some of those items in the package, those are 3 or 4 year expenditures that go on with contracts. So I just want to make that clear. If we're going to fix the audio equipment and the video equipment for a state-of-the-art studio that we need in our city, we need to make sure that it's done right. So it's been moved and supported and discussed. Roll call.
Shramsky.
No, I had a question, but I was
I can't see hands. Go ahead, Councilwoman Peter.
well, it's not that. I mean, I did say I wanted to ask a question.
Go ahead,
and that is,
Councilwoman
who is
Peter.
on the
Go ahead,
sub-
Councilwoman Peter. You have the floor.
I will if you will let me.
You have the
Who
floor.
is on the subcommittee?
The cable subcommittee is not in front of me right now, but I believe it's myself, Councilwoman Waterman, and there's 2 more people, but I don't have it in front of me.
We can't have,
Council Pro Tem Randy Carter,
I was on the cable too.
and then probably Councilwoman Miller. But
well, we can only have 3 people attending the meeting on the subcommittee.
all of our subcommittees are made up of 3 persons and
With
an alternate. Thank you very much.
Correct.
I just told you I didn't have that list in front of me. But the meeting will be scheduled for next Tuesday at 5 o'clock. I will send out an email to let everybody know who will be on the subcommittee. All right, it's been moved and it's been seconded. It's been discussed. Roll call.
Shramsky. Taylor Burks. Waterman.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Petola.
Yeah.
Okay. Now I need a motion to approve the agenda as amended.
Support.
All right, it's been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call.
Taylor Burks. Waterman.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Miller.
Yes.
Petola.
Yes.
Shramsky. Okay, 7 yeas, 7 nays.
Okay. Which brings us to approval of the minutes from the August 31st, 2021 meeting. been moved and supported. Any discussion? Seeing none, roll call?
Waterman. Williams.
Yes.
Carter. Miller. Petula.
Yes.
Shramsky. Taylor Burks. 7 yeas, 0 nays.
Okay, minutes are approved, which brings us to public comments. Pro Tem Carter.
Thank you very much. First up is John Crane, and then Marie Thomas on deck. Okay. John Crane. Okay. Going once, twice. Marie Thomas.
Good afternoon, Council. Can you hear me?
Please
Can you hear
speak
me
into
now?
the mic. We can hear you, but speak closer to the mic, or pull it down a little bit towards your face.
Hello?
Yes, ma'am.
Good afternoon, Council and Mayor. I'm coming to you this afternoon asking that perhaps before the administration changed, that we could get a child playing and neighborhood sign between California and Nebraska on Highland as 2 speed bumps on the street, because it's still being used as 696. At the present time, we have at least, I think it's about 7 small kids on the street that's under 9 years old. There's another concern, which I have voiced before. California and Highland, the intersection there. Those trees at that corner fence is all the way out in the street, and you have to pull almost into the middle of the street to be able to see if any cars are coming. Number 3, I've been on Highland Street for over 40 years, never seen do not park signs. I am not in understanding why those signs got put up for M1, and are they going to stay there?
Thank you, ma'am. Ms. Karen Jorgensen and Robert Bass on deck.
Good evening, Madam Mayor and City Council. I have 2 announcements to make. One is on September 11th, which is a Saturday, we are planning our 3rd cleanup, and that will be attended by the Oakland University medical students. It will start at 9 a.m. and cease at about 12 noon. We are going to be joining District 1 and District 7 together, so it will be myself, Perry Earl, Marcus Bowman, Prince Miles, Julia Ruffin, and Sean Preston. So if anyone else would like to help us out or be a part of it, and we couldn't do this without being supervised by Mr. Robert Bass. So if anybody wants to attend or be a part of this, please call me at 248-644-2110. Thank you. And I also wanted to let you know that Pontiac's Little Art Theater is excited about a lineup that we have for the week of Motor Bella. And on September 23rd, that's a Wednesday evening, we'll be showing the movie Ford versus Ferrari, and that's starring Matt Damon and Christian Bale. On Thursday, we will have Pontiac's own Tony Jefferson and his band. Friday night, we will have Skeeto Valdez and the Funhouse Band. They typically play at the Dirty Jazz Cafe in Detroit. And we are very honored to have, for the 4th time, to celebrate with us is Alexander Zonchuk. So he will be performing at Pontiac's Little Art Theater as well. So if you need any more information, please go to our website, which is www.theplat.org. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Robert Bass and Mr. Chuck Johnson on deck.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Robert Bass, Executive Director of Community Citizen District Council. First, I'd like to give our prayers and condolences to the family of Mr. Frank Russell. I hate to move from that to a concern, but I have to do so. We have a number of concerns regarding the signs that were put up, the no parking signs. We have no information to share with the public whether they're going to be there permanently or whether they're temporary. And my biggest concern is who paid for those signs to go up, and have there been an ordinance change to affect those parking signs to be permanent. So if we could, we'd like to get somebody to give us an answer, because emails seem to do no good when I send that to the council. I got 2 emails that's never been answered, and it's been over a month when they got those, when y'all have those emails. So with that, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Chuck Johnson? Mr. Troy Johnson?
Good evening, Pro Team President, City Council, Madam Mayor. What brings me down today is in regards to a situation I've been dealing with now, going on 2 years, dealing with mailing. I moved off of 97 South Tasmania, my auntie's home, a little bit over a year ago, going on to my sister's home, 63 North Marshall Street, Pontiac, Michigan. My sister was at this home for 7 to 8 years. She went ahead and moved down to Atlanta, Georgia, where her one and only child, her daughter, and 2 small grandchildren stay. She's down there now. Bottom line is she never came back up here to get her belongings or anything. I then went down and made a change of address. I've been having still issues with not only her mail still coming to the home, but other people's mail as well. When I went down to the post office and spoke with the postmaster, I don't know what her name is, very rude, very nasty, very vicious. She tried to tell me that the carriers have a certain amount of time to deliver the mail, this, that, and another, otherwise this, that, and another. Okay, well, what does that have to do with them delivering the proper mail to the proper addresses? And this is all I was trying to get her to understand. But the young lady that gave me the proper paperwork to fill out for the change of address, she had to have been new. This lady had another worker summons her to her office, and she chastised this young lady with the door wide open in front of a nice amount of customers such as myself. Again, I dealt with her last year. I just recently went down there last week because, once again, I'm getting junk mail that should not be coming to my home. Once again, she comes out, she's very belligerent, she's very vicious, she's very abusive of her power. I don't think that's right. I'm a taxpayer. I've been here in Pontiac 49 years of my life. I have a job. I've been on my job for 3 years. I work very hard. And now I'm in my own home now. All I'm asking is for peace. I'm tired of having to keep going down there and dealing with this woman, because it's to the point where I respect my elders, but at the same time, she really, really has me to that point where I'm just really just going to cut into her and let her have it, and just may end up going to jail for being belligerent. Something needs to be done. She's, like I said, she's very abusive of her power, very abusive. And you cannot explain your words detail for detail. She will not allow for that or anything. When you ask for her boss to talk, she won't give you anything. Anything. I'm not trying to get anybody fired, but I have a voice and I need to be heard. And I need to be respected. So that's all I'm saying. The postmaster down on Huron, I can't deal with her. And I cannot keep having my mail. I even have letters on my door stating Johnson only.
Thank you, sir.
That's your time, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Johnson is going to take care of you from Congresswoman Lawrence's office.
Dr. Robert Price, and then Ms. Ruffin on deck.
First of all, I want to say God bless this city council. Sister Peeler of the City Council has always wanted to hear me speak. She likes my voice, and so I want to thank her for all the years of support. Also, I want to thank my dear friend and family, Doris Taylor, who continues to do a great job with this city any way she can. We're going to miss you, Kermit, when you leave, so continue to do great things. My brother is being honored. Even though he is deceased, he's being honored for the life that he lived. Price Dam, at his name, Price Dam in Bodette Park, will have a plaque or concrete emblem put in it to recognize, to everyone to recognize that it's Price Dam. And the ceremony is to, allegedly is to take place on September 28th, which is a Tuesday, which is his birthday. Ron Gay of the Oakland County Historical Museum, along with some other well-known people in Pontiac, are to be part of that ceremony. It was Ron Gay that made me fully aware that Price Dam is Price Dam, because I was trying to get the city involved in naming it Price Dam. I want to thank everyone in this city who helped my brother throughout the many years that he had public service as an Oakland County Commissioner and a state representative, along with all the other things that my brother did for any and everybody that he could. I want to thank everybody that has helped me throughout the years also. And I wish everybody in this city to be God blessed for everything that you do in the righteousness of the Lord. I want a special thanks to Doris Taylor, because, like I said earlier, we family. God bless you.
Thank you, sir. Ms. Julia Ruffin.
Good evening, Honorable Mayor and Honorable Council, City of Pontiac residents. I wanted to first mention, a couple of weeks ago I talked about the boat with DPW. I want to thank them for removing the boat, but there's some tires still left on Front Street, so if we can get those, I'd appreciate it. I'm here today because I got word about the passing of Mr. Frank Russell, and it made me think about all of the living individuals who have contributed greatly to the community. With the passing of Mr. Russell, I was thinking, because it's too late to honor him in person now, maybe we need to take stock of the ones that are among us and start trying to give them their flowers while they're here. Frank Russell, for those who may not know, he was a pillar in Oakland County. He worked with one of the first county execs, and he was very adamant about making sure that African Americans had an opportunity to work in county government. He is going to be missed sorely. I'm a benefactor of just being able to sit at his feet, to understand how to move. When issues came about throughout my career at Oakland County. So I ask everyone to pray for his family, and also for Council President his loss as well. I just want to say COVID is real, people, and we really need to take stock. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. President, any public comments?
Okay, that brings us to item number 6, resolution to approve an agreement between the city and Asphalt Specialists, Inc. for $2,096,286.00 for 2021 local street improvement. Madam Mayor.
Is anything that people agree on in the city is that we want to get our roads fixed. So this is one of those initiatives. It is actually asphalt paving of some areas. One of the streets is West Columbia, also along Woodward Avenue, and several small segments of a lot of different streets in Pontiac. So Mr. Siddiqui is here to present that, and this is a project that will be starting with council approval this fall and continuing through July of 2022. So we present that now for your approval, council. Mr. Siddiqui?
Right, so this project, we bid it out, there's 4 parts to it. There's the local street rehabilitation, which is coming from the local street fund, which addresses streets such as Cherry Hill, Starlight, Fairmount, Bynum, Gumbrell, Omar, and Granada, and a couple others. And then part B is the West Columbia rehabilitation. Since it's in that same area as Cherry Hill, Bynum, and Fairmount, we packaged it into one project to get better pricing from contractors, just because of the proximity to the other work. So that project will be coming out of that project will be funded, or that part of the project will be funded through the Major Street Fund. And then there's Woodward Avenue pavement repair from roadkill 2 years ago that MDOT's been requiring us to repair some damage that was done to new pavement that MDOT had placed at the rail crossing there. So that's also been packaged into this project. And then there's some small segments of repair of some city streets, local streets, sorry, throughout the city. And those will also be coming from the local street fund from the maintenance account.
Anybody have any
And so
questions?
the low bid was $2,096,286. It's a very, very good price. The engineer's estimate was $2.5 million. So we're actually we got a very good price here.
Okay, I think Councilwoman Waterman had a question, and then
Yep.
I'll recognize.
Okay.
Councilwoman Miller. Mr. Siddiqui, you need to turn off your mic while she's speaking, because that's what's causing the feedback.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm just questioning, is this a part of what we were supposed to be discussing at our Finance Subcommittee meeting next Tuesday with these funds coming out of here? And where were these funds budgeted?
Yes, these funds were requested in the budget amendment, yes.
In the budget amendment?
And they were requested in the original budget that they were cut from, yeah,
Right,
so.
so we need
right.
to discuss that at our Finance Subcommittee.
Right.
Secondly, I guess I have a problem with, we doing this roadkill nights, and we fixed the pavement out there, and now you want to come back to us and tell us we need to fix something that roadkill did? So how are we going to get our funding, our money back from that? Because that's a problem to me.
Right, so that money is not, so we're going to be paying for it up front with the contractor, but it'll be reimbursed by the organizers of the roadkill.
And how much is that? What's
That's
that
about,
cost?
I believe the bid was 48,000 on that one.
Also, I guess I have a problem too, Mr. President and fellow colleagues, is that when we have dream crews, these people, they don't do it in Birmingham, in Bloomfield, and them do those burnouts. And now our streets look deplorable because they have allowed burnouts. So what are we going to do about our streets and these burnouts? And if this should be next year, I want the police to mandate that we don't have any burnouts
in our city, destroying our roads.
Thank you.
With that, Mr. President, I'm done. I'll relinquish myself to Councilwoman Miller.
Okay, Councilman Miller?
Well, you know, the problem that I have with this is that the streets that you're picking, don't get me wrong, the whole city of Pontiac, you know, even though I represent District 5, but we all represent the whole city. Who determines where and what street? How would you determine what streets you're going to fix? And second of all, you know, with the burnout with the Lord Keel and I mean, I just have to say this. The people in that area have been suffering for a while. I mean, it's horrible. There's no doubt about it. They just pick Pontiac and just do anything. You know, just burn out. She's correct. You go down Lower, you don't see that nowhere else. But they only do that. But then again, you got to, I'm just going to say, it's the people that run the thing. We got to shut it down. We have the will to say, no Roy Keel here and no burnouts here. We have that power, and we have to start using it. But that question I wanted to ask, what determines, because I noticed on the street that you didn't call any for 5 or maybe from the other district. How do you determine which one you want to pay?
So most of these streets were already selected, so I'm basically carrying a project that was already selected. But the selection process is that we're looking at the worst streets that are well, there's a lot of streets that are bad in the city, and we just have to prioritize. And in this case, like Cherry Hill, Starlight, all those streets, they're all close together. It's an efficient use of the money to sort of bundle streets like that. And then we do have streets in District 5, I believe, Binen, Gambrell. Those are all, I believe, in District 5 as well. But you know, there's also a couple streets in District 6. I will say that you know, proximity and just road condition and complaints and all of that all plays a part.
And Mr. Adua, one more question while you're up there. I just thought about it. I believe the young lady over there in the chair over there with the black on, she didn't mention about the speed humps. We were trying to bring the speed humps here, but we was told from the administration that, you know, with it being wintertime and it's almost cold, so they're not going to put them down right now. That's something that I've really been pushing for quite some while, way back in the spring when we could have had speed humps, because I have some area in my district, they running down it like they're doing 90 on side streets. We need these speed humps in the city of Pontiac like now. We do, because it's awful. And I shouldn't mention MLK. It's 696 now. So, Mr. Adua, why can't we get the speed humps
So
anytime soon?
we had discussed having a pilot project for the speed humps.
Right.
And I'll be sending emails around asking for, you know, candidate streets. I think we had mentioned 3 streets per district that we'll initially go with, so that will be coming your way.
Would it be a possibility of doing it, implementing anytime soon?
It would have to be implemented in the spring because these are the rubber cushions and they'd get ripped up with the snow plows in the winter. So the plan is always just to remove them over the winter. So at this point, I think if we're going to remove them over the winter anyways, we'll just place them initially in the spring and see how they work out.
Okay, I hear Mr. Adua, but like I said, I'm going to put that on record. And I know on Kettering Street, it's just a catastrophe. I stay over there a lot. And some kid is going to get hurt one day. That's what I'm afraid of. That's why those speed humps need to come down. There's, you know, and I would talk with the president about this because these officers that we got with the speeding, they're supposed to be for the speeding, Mr. President, I don't see them. Because people run around this city speeding like it's, I mean, they're just running over each other. It's just out of control. It's out of control. But thank you, Mr. Adua. That's it, Mr. President.
Mr. Chair?
Hold on, I'm gonna recognize all the council and then I'll come to you, Madam. Pro Tem Carter and then, do I see your hand, Councilman People? Okay. Pro Tem Carter, then
I will say,
Councilman
I appreciate having Columbia repaired. Columbia actually got bypassed when Orchard Lake was repaired, MLK was repaired. We got pushed to the back when Paddock was repaired, and then later on with Featherstone. So this has been almost 6 cycles
Right.
to have Columbia repaired. And I thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay. Councilwoman Pedala?
Mr. Siddiqui, I also want to thank you for West Columbia, which I have asked for 10 years, based upon what I'm hearing from the residents over there, as well as Cherry Hill. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And that's all. I heard somebody say something about the speeding on the property. That's not got anything to do with you, Mr. Siddiqui. That does have to do with our officers, and although we have given the money for 3 traffic officers, they have not been able to hire new traffic officers yet. And we knew that was going to happen. We will get new traffic officers after they do a little bit more hiring and they can train somebody to do this. They expect, and the captain did mention this would happen in November. So I'm not quite sure why people are asking for them in September. But thank you very much.
Okay, anybody else from the council?
Yes, I just want to make a comment. I'm asking for it because people's lives are at stake and people are going to die. I didn't interrupt you. I didn't interrupt you.
Wait till you get recognized.
I didn't interrupt you. What I'm saying to you, Mr. Siddiqui, I'm addressing you. What I'm saying to you, no, I know that you're not at fault, but what I'm asking really a constituent out there, the questions, I want her to understand. If I give you some money and I tell you to go do X nothing, I'm waiting on my money results, okay? We gave you the money. We gave the police officers the money. I want results. Somebody's going to get hurt. This is people's lives here, what they're doing. They came down and asked us for more money. We gave it to them. We want 4 officers for the street, 3 officers for a patrol only, and 4 to go in the neighborhood because, as you well know, the neighborhoods are off the chain with crime. It's getting really bad. And we asked for that. Now, if I give them the money, the council gave them the money, I want results. I've been waiting a couple of weeks, but I'm getting a little anxious. And that's all I'm saying, Mr. Deacon. No, you don't have anything to do with that part, but I was just mentioning the speed humps you do. And I just think, even if you put them out for a month, that's good. Pull them up. We may not even get any snow. The way we've been had a summer, we've been having Florida weather. Who knows? We may get Florida weather all the winter long. We never know. May not need to pull them up. Thank you, Mr. President. That's all I have to say.
Okay, anybody else from council? Madam Mayor, before I do recognize you, if you could speak to the video of the Oakland County Sheriff helping the guy do donuts during this Dream Cruise weekend, I think that would be appropriate also, because one of the people, Councilwoman Waterman, mentioned the burnouts on the streets, and so if the Sheriff's Department is helping to advocate that instead of ticketing these people or detaining them, that could be a problem. Madam Mayor?
I'm not aware of any such video. I'm aware of some other incidences that I've reported to the Sheriff Department to have them act upon that, including the drag racing that was going along up the dike. The problem of people driving through our neighborhood streets much too fast is very endemic, and it very much concerns me for the people who spoke to that. And I think that, Council, you got to realize, though, that you took out 1/3 of the budget money for our local streets, all right? So we need that put back so we can repair the streets, and then if you want more money for speed bumps, you got to put it in the budget. You know, we can't spend money that you don't put in the budget. Mr. Siddiqui, I'd be willing, this is endemic enough, and we're hearing people complain, and I am concerned about our children's safety. And if that's what it takes to put speed bumps down on some of the most egregious streets where this is happening, and we know that, then I'd be willing to go ahead and put it down for whatever months. I don't know how long it would take to order them and put them down. You know, everything's on back order now. It's still post-COVID. But why don't we look at that? I know you had talked about a pilot program. Maybe we need to do a little bit more. And let's look at that. The council, when we come and ask for the budget, you can't then put us back to the subcommittee for weeks at a time and expect to get it down. So we got to work together if we want to get it done, because I too am concerned about the safety of our children in some of these neighborhoods.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, for that. I think we're all in agreement with those sentiments. While they're doing that, if you could take care of Auburn Street, especially by the Family Dollar. When Mr. Ballin was here a couple of years ago, we asked for some kind of flashing light or something for those people to cross the street. We have over 1,000 people in that neighborhood right there that are crossing. We've already had 3 or 4 incidents there, and once they come off that hill, they're just wiping little kids out. And so if that can be addressed, I think that would be awesome. All right, we're going to move on to our next item, which is item number 7, resolution to approve the city enter into agreement with Amnesty Air Duct Cleaning and Installation to perform air duct cleaning services to all city buildings not to exceed $79,060. Is there a motion? Oh, we need to suspend the rules? Okay, we need, is there a motion to suspend the rules? Support. All right, it's been moved and supported. Roll call on suspending the rules.
Williams,
Yes.
Carter,
Yes?
Miller,
Yes.
Petola, Shramsky, Taylor Burks, Waterman.
Yes.
7 yeas on it.
Okay, is there a motion to approve the city entering into agreement with Amnesty Air Duct Cleaning and Installation to perform air duct cleaning and services to all city-owned buildings not to exceed $79,060?
Move.
Support.
All right, I'll take the support from Taylor Burks. Any discussion?
Yes, I have a quick question for you, Mr. President.
Yes.
Because I'm kind of confused about a little thing, and I think that air ducts need to be cleaned. Would this consist of all the buildings?
Yes.
All of them, okay,
All 5 of them.
okay.
Yes. Yes, Councilwoman Miller. Any other discussion?
Yes. I have a resident that has been coming down the last few weeks and saying that this is a waste of money. And I did agree with one point she made about maybe we should look in the vents first and see what's there, see what needs to be done. But I've done some more research, and I am in possession of emails from the head judge of the 50th District Court writing to Dan Ringo saying that there's so much dirt coming out of the vent that it is all over the ceiling and the lights and dimming it to the point where they can't see. I have that right here. I also got some of the records from Mr. Al Cooley. He did not have them all. Some of them precede his employment. The basement of City Hall has never been maintained. The ducts have never, ever been cleaned. We have some buildings where nobody knows the last time they've been cleaned. The only ones he was able to tell me were, I think it was this building, and it's been at least, no, I think maybe it's Ruth Peterson, 6 years. And it's been about that long for City Hall also. And there is also an individual in the city that has severe mold allergies who cannot enter this building or City Hall. And I myself, if you've seen me up here, I'm constantly dabbing my nose. I have a severe mold allergy. And my resident was claiming that EPA says that you never ever need to clean the vents. Well, they're talking about normal dust. We've had the roof go in at Ruth Peterson Center, so we don't know if any of those ducts are damaged. We don't know if there's any water sitting up there. The police department has flooded several times, especially this year. There could be mold in the ducts from that. Nobody knows. We haven't done it. And so I guess we could break this up and say, okay, clean all the units. Let's get some good MERV filters and, let's see if we need any repairs. But then it's gonna cost nearly as much money. It's gonna cost almost as much money just to do that, even if you take the cleaning out. And this is 5 buildings. This is all our city-owned buildings. So I had been leaning towards no if I could find anything different, but the evidence I'm seeing is we don't know when we've done this. And I don't know if either Gloria or Randy would like to address anything about that, because I know Gloria has a 50th District Subcommittee, and I know Mr. Randy Carter's been kind of looking around too. Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna say briefly, for the people in the back, those square vents back there are the fresh air intakes, and they're black. So I don't know the last time the city cleaned them. There's no records. These right here are the outlets where it comes out. It's obvious they're black. They've never been cleaned. If they have been cleaned, it might have been in the last century. I don't know. But this time, at least we guarantee that all the buildings will have it all clean. Thank you very much.
Yes, and if anybody wants to go look at ducts in disrepair, we have a vending machine in City Hall when you walk in with 2 holes in it, and black ducks that everybody can go look at and wonder why we're spending this money. With that, I will, is there any other discussion? Okay, seeing none, roll call.
Carter,
Yes?
Miller,
Yes.
Petola, Shramsky, Taylor Burks, Waterman,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
7 yeas, no nays.
Okay, motion passes, which brings us to item number 8, resolution to approve support emergency operation plan in cooperation with the Oakland County Emergency Management and the Oakland County Emergency Management Program. Madam Mayor.
As you can well imagine, it's very important for every city and entity to have an emergency plan, and we've seen all around us the natural and man-made disasters that have been having, such as, extreme heat, plan if you need to provide cooling centers in the city, floods, what you do to help people with that, who's responsible, who sends out the notices. That's what an emergency operating plan does entail. And so this is one that we have had. We approved one about a year and a half ago. That one is now needs to be have updates put to it, and we're bringing that to you. It's required that the city have an emergency operations plan, and this is the updated information for what we do in those conditions. So it is in your manual, and Mr. Siddiqui is here to answer any additional questions.
Right, as the mayor said, I mean, it's a required plan, local emergency support plan. The state requires it to be adopted by the council in order to be eligible for possible Section 19 disaster funds. And so we're working with Oakland County to update that plan.
Mr. President.
Yeah, go ahead, Pro Tem.
Mr. Dick, I have a big problem, and it goes over 30 years. When you call City Hall to any department, someone doesn't answer the phone. Someone doesn't receive or respond back to you. Right now, I have emails that are not being responded to, and I'm going through, I'm looking at a list of people, the same people I'm calling. I mean, being calling you, calling Al Cooley, the same thing. Either you're going to answer your city number, or you're going to answer the email, or you're going to answer your cell phone. Without that, this is all futile and useless. I can't see getting into a contract involving other people when we don't have a means of support of calling the city. Unable to call DPW, unable to call court enforcement, planning. I mean, there's no longer COVID, so there's no reason everybody should be back to work. If I call somebody, the phone should ring, it should automatically get stored, and somebody should be calling me back. I mean, that's the first step we're going to do in emergency. If we can't get past that, there's no need in involving anybody else. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Councilwoman Waterman.
is there a cost to this?
No.
Yeah, I'm just looking at the names that are on here. I agree with you, Pro Tem. It's only certain departments that you can call that is the answer, and basically that's the city clerk.
Okay, anybody else from council? My only question, Mr. Siddiqui, is in the last 3 emergencies we've had, there has been no council contact whatsoever to get to the residents if there is a power outage, no emergency or whatever, I have to either go to the city website where the last disaster we had was a power outage, so who could go to the website if they didn't have power, or to do something else. And all of our phones are now operated through voice over IP. My question is, are we building in a hard line? Is there going to be 3 or 4 centralized things so that way the citizens can know? And the other part about it is what's going to be added to our cable to make sure that these announcements go out to the people. Other cities, I always see Channel 4, Channel 7, or whatever on the news as soon as they have a disaster, and Pontiac is never mentioned. I'm not putting anybody at fault. I'm just saying if we're going to work on an improvement plan, let's make sure that we're contacting the individuals who can get the messages out to the citizens. One of the things that you have to deal with at DPW is people not moving their cars during a slow emergency. And so if the city of Pontiac is not on those major sites listed and those major news outlets, how are we getting that done? I understand that this is just a plan for the county, but if we're going to do it and put it together, let's take the actual time to make sure that it works for all the residents. So I would be, because last time we had a DPW subcommittee meeting, you guys didn't have this plan together yet, so we weren't able to talk through it. What I would like to see is a real actual plan that will work for the citizens to know what's going on, because we had a lot of seniors that were without power, some on oxygen and other things, and we had really no way to triage or get to them without somebody just calling the old-fashioned phone tree way. And so there's got to be a better system in the city, even if we have some hardline numbers in DPW or something that we're using to make sure that people can get in contact, and also that we're reaching out to the major news outlets so Pontiac is not left behind while other cities are having those actual things there. And what I would like to see, Mr. Siddiqui, and I don't know how easy this is for you to access, is what some of the other cities that are comparable size do with their emergency, and if their emergency plan looks the same as ours. For example, I know Southfield does a lot of work with the county to see if their plan is similar with the way that they deal with and respond to these issues.
Mr. Chair, Mr. Siddiqui won't be able to answer that question because that's an IT question. I can answer it for you because that is something we've been working on with IT, which is, has been installing some new modifications to our communication system. All of you now have part of the Ring Central, which is about a cloud-based phone system, changes the answering. And we also have Frank Antona sitting right there. We have brought in other cloud-based systems that will bring Pontiac up to modern ways of communication, so we can have broad-based communication. We did have the Pontiac Connect, the app, in which we were putting out notices to people through emails. So there's a lot of things that we're upgrading, bringing to your attention. But the emergency operation plan is something that is required for all cities by the county. It's the responsibility of the city council to have a current emergency plan by which the city can operate. So how you upgrade your phone systems and your IT system is not related to this plan, Council President. We are brought this to you, and it needs to be done so that we can have this registered with the county. It is a responsible thing for the city to do. I do ask that you consider this and that you pass this so we can be a responsible city and have an emergency operating plan that will be effective for this city.
A responsible city knows how to operate in an emergency. If we are going to look at a plan, we cannot continue just to have the bare basic of everything. What you're telling me is we should pass this plan to go to the county so we have the bare minimum and we're in compliance with the county. That did not address anything that I just said previously, Madam Mayor. I'm not saying that we don't need to have something on file with the county. What I'm saying is we should take this opportunity while we're looking at our emergency systems to actually deal with an emergency. If you were satisfied with the last emergency we had in Pontiac and the way that it was handled across the board, then I have nothing to talk about with you on that issue. But if you believe that there was improvement, especially with the communication with the council members in this system, then we should be able to talk about that and engage and have something that can actually work for the citizens. We're going to move on to item Number 9, which is a resolution to approve hazard pay for DPW essential workers using the American Rescue Plan, ARP funds.
Mr. President,
Yes.
I got a lot to say about this one. Do we need them to talk first? I don't really.
I'm prepared to introduce the item, as I have done for the other agenda items. I would like to do that to give the background to this.
And then I'll recognize Councilwoman Waterman.
Okay. This is being brought to you. It is hazard pay for essential workers, which was brought to a lot of cities. As we brought to your attention, our DPW department, with the small number compared to the amount of acreage we have here, the amount of 30 parks, they do a valiant job with maintaining the city. So we have been losing, as you say, essential workers, the city of Pontiac DPW, as they go to other cities that are paying a higher salary. And many of them did pay hazard pay work increases and bonuses. And so some of our employees are leaving to where they're paying those hazard pay for obvious reasons. You know, they're going to go, that's a no-brainer. If somebody's going to give you $5,000 more, they pay in Pontiac, that's where they're going. That poses a real problem for us. This is really a no-brainer. And so we have adopted a formula that we ask you to consider. We've given you what that means in terms of the pay out. We looked at other cities and what they were paying. Our finance director did do some investigation to see what other cities were offering. Some of them were able to offer that through COVID money allotment. We used more of ours for our first responders, what our money was. But I do ask you, it is a reimbursable ARP expense. We now have that money, and I think this is a useful way of using that. What we did was decided to base pay based on seniority. Some of the workers were here throughout the period of COVID, 18 months. Some others weren't, you know, were later hirees, so we had a formula that accounted for seniority as well. And of course, giving the higher pay to our chief administrators in that department. During COVID, when a lot of people were working remotely, a lot of our different staffs, the essential workers had to come in every day. They couldn't fix the street lights remotely. They could not make sure that check out the holes in the streets remotely. So they have to go in, and because of that, they are essential, what we call essential. They came in every day. They didn't get a day off for work at home, like so many others. So this is why many cities are recognizing this. I think we should be, as you stay with the times too, be able to keep our workers, reward our workers, and I think both the top administrators, both Mr. Siddiqui and Al Cooley, have highly recommended this. I suggested that to them. We worked out a formula that we seem to be fair. And altogether, this is only going to be, this is less than $50,000. So that is compared to where some other cities that have huge staffs in DPW. You know, we still outsource a lot of things. This is a minuscule amount. So we can do this, or we can keep losing DPW workers. And if you think it's hard now to get your speed bumps and your roads repaired, it becomes even harder if you can hire responsible people. So I do highly recommend this. This is a proposal I'm putting forward, and it is also recommended by both of the DPW, both engineer and deputy director.
Okay. Thank you, Madam Mayor. Before I call on you, Councilwoman Waterman, I'm just going to say 2 points really quickly. We should have been taking care of our workers at City Hall and other places when we had the COVID money to do it in the first place. I have nothing against those people getting paid, and I also agree that our DPW workers, and I think that everybody in the city should give them a hand clap for coming in every day, even when I thought City Hall should have been closed. But they weren't the only ones working at City Hall.
Thank you.
And so
I need to speak.
Yeah, I hear you. I'm about to remove myself from this meeting, Councilwoman Waterman. The last thing I want to say is I will not entertain any of this until there's a list that's complete with all of the workers at City Hall to be made whole. And the formula shouldn't be based on seniority, because everybody's life is worth the same. It should be based on if they worked or if they didn't work. And so I'm gonna ask my colleagues, Pro Tem Carter, to take over, and I'm gonna leave this meeting.
Randy, my hand is up.
Thank you, Mr. President, because I'm going to speak my piece and I'm ready to go. I'm looking at this list, and this list is absolutely absurd to me, because you have two people that are down at the bottom of this page who worked tirelessly in this city, cleaning City Hall, contacted COVID, cleaning this City Hall, and you want to give them some peanuts.
Yeah.
You want to give them peanuts, and the other people who are you got up here at the top, they weren't really in City Hall doing anything, and you want to give them top dollar because they are the department heads and acting department heads. This is, oh my God, this is just scandalous. This is absolutely scandalous. You also had our city clerk office who worked every day tirelessly, did an election, had people sick in there, and you don't have the audacity to put them on this list? This is sad. I will not vote for anything like this. I will agree with the president until there is a valid listing of everybody who worked in this city during COVID. Code enforcement was out there working. They got cars. They should be going up and down the streets right now in those cars that we gave them, seeing what's going on. This is absolutely crazy, and I will not give anybody a dime of this money until everybody is taken care of, especially the two people at the bottom who did all the work in this city hall, and you want to give them pennies. That is shameless. It's absolutely shameless.
Thank you. Mr. Mayor Peter.
Thank you, Mr. Pro Tem. I got a call today from somebody in DPW. This is not the recommended amount that they have suggested that the mayor give them. They suggested that they not get the top dollar amount that they got, and that the mayor be given everybody in the city a substantial amount. We have Miss Wesley, who is here every single day. She may not have come in at 9 o'clock. She came in maybe a little bit later, but she still worked her 8 hours, and if they look at payroll, they will see that. But she's only getting a small amount. And then we have the janitors that have been here for over 10 years with us, although they only hired in to the DPW department because of the change in 2020. But they have been here with us. You all know Omar and Fatima, those that come to the City Hall on a regular basis. She gave them peanuts, and I do mean peanuts. But this is not what the department heads at DPW have asked, but this is the number that the mayor has given. And she's not included anybody in here but DPW. Now, code enforcement, I know Patrice had an argument about that, but I will say that there were quite a few code enforcement officers that worked out of their home. They did not work in the roads, whether they had the car or not, because I have a couple of them that were assigned to District 3 that I couldn't get hold of. And the excuse was they had a family member that was home ill, and they didn't want to bring COVID home. They were afraid of taking that. I can understand that, and maybe they shouldn't get the full CARES money that everybody else is getting. However, when you start giving money in totals of $500, and that was one of the $500 that she's offered to one of ours in the DPW department that has been out there every single day to help to the point where they actually contracted COVID. So it's just, I don't understand people. I don't understand when they say they care, but they don't show that they care. I have a problem with that. And I think that maybe we should all hold off on a vote until we have every city employee that works for this city on this list and or an explanation as to why they're not. But I know the dollar amount that I heard was that they should be getting in excess of $1,000 each. In excess of $1,000, not $1,000, but more than that, because they are quite worthy of that. With that, I'm just going to say, I'll say the same thing Patrice said. Wait until everybody is on the list.
Mr. Chair?
One more. Ms. Miller.
Put everybody on the list?
In order.
Yep, and then you can speak, Mayor, because I'm not gonna be even easier. You know, there's an old saying, you know, talk is cheap, and you don't tell me you love me, and then you don't give me anything. And that's an example of the employees. You picking and choosing who get more, when we all should be equal. There was a lot of people in many departments worked. And just as I mentioned to Mr. O'Doyle, there were people that had COVID, and citizens was coming in that building and don't know it. I'm just gonna put it out there. These people put their life on the line. I also agree with Waterman, I agree with Mary, not all the Mary we know, but we agree on this, that we need to pull this off. We need to, I don't know, Mr. Clerk, should we vote to take this off the agenda? Because until this is a fair, this is across the board, I'm not gonna even go into detail. There's no, I'm not gonna even entertain this. This is an insult to many people in integrity. It's not that I like one employee more than another, that's what it look like. I'm paying them more because they got a bigger job. It should have been a flat rate just across the board for everybody. And that way, it's just like you having your kids. Well, I'm gonna give you more because I like you more.
Ooh.
Well, no. You don't do it like that. I'm gonna give you both the same thing, then you can't complain you both got the same thing. Everybody got the same thing. And until that is done, they need to not bring that before me. That's not gonna happen. So, seems like my colleagues saying we can take that off, we can just take that off the agenda so we don't have to entertain it next week. How do we go about that?
We can table it.
Table it?
Yes.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, you have a response?
I'm listening to what your complaints and concerns are about this offer. If it's just a matter you want everybody to get some money, hey, I have no problem with that. Let's give everybody $2,000. They wouldn't would object to that. That would cost the city, I don't know, finance director would have to figure that out. But what we have here is typical to what was done in other cities, and that's why we're losing workers. This is the rationale behind this. There is ARP money that's directed toward essential workers, non-first responders. So there is a logic in this. We didn't just pull this out of thin air, because this is recognized as the quality of the caliber of people who are getting benefits because of the special work they did during COVID to keep the rest of us safety, while there were others of us were, able to work with through Zoom. So, but if the question is, let's keep everybody fair and get everybody some money, hey, I'll vote for that. Tell me how much you want to give them. Okay?
Mr. Pro Tem, I would. Okay.
Madam Mayor, you're talking about how we're losing people constantly. Let me ask, is maybe when they don't get their raise, which we did give some people the raise of 3%, and they haven't received it since we passed the budget in June?
Yes, they have.
No, they haven't. I sat down with an individual that works for the city folks, and we gave 3% raise, and he has not, or she, neither one, has not seen their raise yet.
It's several employees.
So I would like to, you know what? I would like to see, Darren, you're here. I would like to see the payrolls to show the difference between what they got in July, or no, I'm sorry, yeah, what they got in July and what they got in April. So we can compare them. And we have the names. We're not going to give you the names. Just show us the payroll for everybody so we can verify who got a raise and who didn't. Because I know I was told when I had that conversation that there were some people that didn't get it, and I'm not going to share the names. Because you ain't going to come back and fire them. That's it.
You're very correct, Mary. I know several myself, and it's a thing of picking and choosing people you don't like, so you don't give them their raises. Now, that was something that the council did as a body. They always would have got those raises.
That's
There
right.
are people in the city right now afraid to say they didn't get their raise. We
Because
just got
you'll
to tell the
fire 'em.
people the truth. It is happening. And, I mean, to discriminate against one worker, but me, myself, as working for my constituent, I think the residents are waiting on what they're going to get out of this CARES money. We need to get that straightened out first, because we need to get busy on what the resident's going to do. And that's why I had mentioned to you that one meeting, one building, one city, don't go from district to district, one meeting with the council to talk to the people and see what they want done with this money, from this CARES money. That is your money as well. So, you know,
Absolutely.
if you're gonna do that, maybe, I mean, scratch everybody and go to the people. I mean, if you're gonna do that. Because that's what really the money is for.
Exactly. Mr. Chair, may I make one last comment?
Make this last comment, and I got all
Okay.
these facts.
That's exactly what we are going to do. In fact, thank you. Sorry?
No, we're not.
I'm sorry?
I said, no, we're not.
Am I recognized to speak?
I didn't say that, Mayor. I said, wait a minute, Mayor.
Oh, okay.
Don't respond.
I didn't understand. I thought you would recognize me.
As of February 20th, the street lights on Jonathan, whoever job it is, have not been repaired. The lights on Walton have not been repaired since April of 21. The note says there are 7 trees in Hawthorne Park and JC Park that have been in the park for 3 years, let alone the broken park equipment. So if the city's doing any work, or either that, or they're told not to do any of the repairs. And that needs to show up inside a performance of whoever is supposed to be doing these jobs. Thank you. Mayor?
So I'm not sure how that related to the agenda item we're discussing right now, but at any rate, let me just, I offered if you want to do something fair, you called it, and give it to everybody. I have no problem with that. Suggest an amount, and we can put it on the agenda. There may be some people who haven't gotten the 3% because, as remember, council said they were not going to be given to people who had not been hired for more than 6 months or a year. I've forgotten that now.
no,
But that was.
no,
May I
no,
finish, please?
no,
May I
no.
finish, please?
No, because
May I
you're telling
finish, please?
untruths.
Some of these
No, it
people
was
have been
in-
here
These
for
people-
years.
May I finish,
You are
please?
telling untruths.
But as Councilwoman Miller did bring up a point in terms of taking this to the people and let them having some input, that's exactly what we're going to do. In fact, tomorrow will be the first of the ARP town halls. It is going to be at 1 o'clock. It will be on Facebook Live. We have some guest panelists who will be there, and we will talk about I want citizen and community engagement and how we spend this $37.7 million. So it'll be listed, it's by Zoom, also by phone. It'll be the first of several kickoff. We have some guest panelists, and we will do a number of those town halls so everybody in the city can be involved in giving their input. So I'm glad you brought that up, Councilwoman Miller.
Well,
because that's exactly what we
the
want
only
to do.
part is you picked the part that you liked the most of what I said. What I said also that council should be aware, these Zoom meetings that you have, they're your meetings. We are elected officials for every 7 district in the city. We should be there. We count, Mayor. We represent our district. We know what our district want. Believe it or not, I know what 5 want. And so how you going to have a Zoom meeting that we are not part of or privy of it, and all seniors can't watch Zoom? They don't understand it. So that's not what I said that, but I also said that we should be involved.
We gonna move on? Okay, Mr. Clerk, communication with city attorney, item number 10 has been received.
Yep. Good.
Communication from city clerk, item number 11.
Mr. President Pro Tem, we received a citizen request. It's already been mentioned by Mr. Price's brother about to locate a commemorative plaque honoring Hubert Price Jr. within Bodett Park. So I don't know if you want to refer this to the DPW department or however, but.
Somebody will notify us when it's available. Mr. Clerk, I will say it's 7:09, we will adjourn.
Just a minute, Mr. President. I think this is going to be September the 28th, is that correct? September the 28th, at what time, Mr. Gay? Pardon me?
Where?
It's going to be at Bodett. What time?
Late morning, early afternoon.
About noon? 11 to 1. Okay, 11 to 1.
Just need a time and date.
11 to 1
Okay.
on Tuesday, September the 28th.
Thank you.
Welcome. You spoke, but go ahead, Mr. Oh, that's not my fault.
I can't understand you, Mr. Gray. I mean, it's all new. It's all new right now.
You received a letter explaining the request. Good evening, by the way. My name is Ron Gay. I'm a resident of Pontiac for 38 years. We're asking to locate a historical plaque within Bodette Park honoring Hubert Price Jr., whom that dam at Dawson Mill Pond is named for. However, there is not actually a historical marker there at this time. So the Water Resource Commission is responsible for creating this. They're the ones who offered to create this plaque and install it. So that's what we're asking for the commission's and the mayor's approval of this, so we can go ahead and install that on the 28th of September.
Mr. Chair, Ron Gay has contacted us. That is something that we will work with them to make sure that gets installed. All right, Mr. Gay, if you would speak to our DPW department, who is responsible for the installations, we'll make those arrangements, all right?
Well, I think we are in the loop with them at this point. I think we're waiting for your approval before we go forward with that.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gray. I will wait for a letter of approval, and everyone will be notified of it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Clerk, unless there's anything else, we adjourn at 7:11.